Hey, you there. Thank you for watching, and welcome to Forge Lines Forever. Today I have a 4v4 ladder match here on the newer map, ODDA. So let's go ahead and introduce our team, starting with Team 1, or Blue Team in the Northwest, and ending with Team 2, or Red Team in the Southeast. Starting off with the westernmost player of Team 1, it is Mealless, going first land in Tropical Ocean Blue as a Cybrin. To the north in Amethyst Purple, we have Winter, going first land as a UEF, most likely the air slot here for his team. We better watch out for his build order here to see how fast he gets to T3 air. To his east, we have Bert, going first land in Royal Blue as another UEF. And last but not least here for Team 1 on his little only island or landmass, whatever we're going to call this section of the map, it is Alexander Berlin, going first land in Stitch Blue as a Seraphim. So for Team 1 in racial disparities and makeup, we have one Seraphim, one Cybrin, and two UEF here. So no Aeon Tech here for Team 1, which is kind of sad because this is a Navy map, and so we're going to miss out on those missile ships. To the southeast here, starting off in Pac-Man Yellow, we have Lenkin going first land, second air as a Seraphim, facing off most likely against his opponent of another Seraphim. To his southeast west, we have Gutsy Heart going first land as a UEF in orange, the color orange. So it is most likely going to be a face-off between the orange player and the purple player here in this game in the air. To his west, as a Cybrin in Chevy Crimson, we have Kinder 5129 going first land, probably second. Maybe just due to his comm moving that westwardly direction. Oh, maybe he's just going to go for these mixes here in the middle, but I would expect to see him get another Navy factory online. And last but not least here for Team 2, we have Jaluka. That's how you say that with the J in front of it. Going first land, second air. Maybe being assisting air player and getting those interceptors and bombers out early. And again, he is in ruby red as a Cybrin. So for Team 2 side of things, we have two Cybrin, a UEF, and a Seraphim. No Aeon in a Navy map. That is so sad. No Torrent missile ships. Very, very sad. Let's check out the reclaim here for our players to scoop up. We have 5,915 was the last number that I saw. Probably 59 and a half, so probably almost close to 6,000 mass. Not a whole lot. A lot of it just residing along the edges of the map. Actually, all of it residing pretty much around the edges of the map. And in terms of mass point distribution, we have 3 on this island here. We have 3, technically 4 on this little outcropping plateau. Not plateau, but island, whatever we're going to call that. Decent amount of mechs to the east, so this player here of Lincoln wants to grab these before his opponent. That's 4 mass points plus a 5th one back here. That is a lot of mass to get early on with that advantage if he can deny it for his opponent for a decent amount of time here. And he is dropping more engineers to secure it even further forward, so love to see that early aggressive play. But that's really about it in terms of like what players are going to fight over. Yeah, there's 2 mechs is here in the middle, but I feel like it's either going to be no man's land or some team's going to own both of them. We'll have to check that out as time moves on. In the west, we have Landfall with the commander of Mealless trying to establish a beachhead, so very similar to Lincoln, except Lincoln sent some NGs first to establish a beachhead and then bring his comm in later, whereas Mealless did not do any of that and will be a little bit slow on that expansion, giving a little bit more time for Jaluka to move northward. And in terms of naval facilities, we have one of them, actually 2 of them about to be online here for Team 1 versus Team 2 has just finished 2 of them as well. So far 2 players getting into the Navy for both teams. And it is the exact same players too. So these Eastern and Western players focusing on the land game. Essentially, the center players focusing on Navy and a little bit of air. You cannot forget about air. It is a naval map. It is 20 by 20. You have to be aware of it. But I do like this map layout because a lot of it is Navy, but you can still do a decent amount of damage on land just due to the fact you have this position so very close to an enemy main base. You can put some missiles, you can put some artillery here just to kind of annoy the player on this eastern side or western side, depending on who is winning that fight. Air fight going over the top of this land incursion here from Lincoln. Getting some air guns, or some anti-air guns, excuse me, to deal with those incoming interceptors. And he has the naming mod on. We have Dexter and GD, and then I don't even want to try pronouncing that. So maybe somebody will let me know what that says down in the comments below, but I have no idea how to even begin to describe or even try to pronounce that. We do have the comm of Alexander moving forward to try to quash this position in the middle. We have, what is that? I don't know, you can name facilities. I'm trying to land, hold on. Oh no, it's building a unit. It looked like it was naming the facility, but Lenin D is going to get annihilated by that comm of Alexander. And to the west, doesn't look like Jaluka wants to push a little. He could push a little bit northward, but deciding to be a little more defensive and conservative here on this western side. I would feel like he could push this and secure it fairly easy and get that, upper plateau advantage. But I don't know. I don't know why he's not doing that. But we will have to see. Comms starting to throw plasma at one another. Alexander focusing on the facility. Then we'll focus on the comm. Very good move here. Trying to deny the enemy the expansion over here. We do have more and more engineers and guns starting to appear here on this eastern side. So Lincoln is going to dig his heels in, but we do have a move here from Alexander trying to establish a forward, hilltop area. And it does look like that facility will go down. It's so close, about a couple more shots. Alexander does come out of range. Very missed opportunity here for Alexander. He's going to actually come back and take that out. Lincoln trying to re-establish it by filling up some of those hit points, but I don't know if it's super worth it. He is into the yellow. This could be an early ejection if he is not super careful. But we do have some Zui on approach. They will deal with the structure fairly quickly, though. To the west, we have T2 upgrade going down here for the comm of Jaluka with assisting Mantis here. Not all of them, but some of them, increasing that speed just a little bit. He is probably looking for T2 Cerberus to cut off this western side and maybe this eastern side as well. But we have Mantis of Team 1's player of Mielis. Don't know if I'm pronouncing that right. Taking out the point defense that was being built but was not finished, unfortunately, for Jaluka. And so that will be somewhat of a setback, but not a huge issue. But it will start being an issue here if Jaluka cannot use that comm to push back these forces on that western side. And in terms of Navy, Team 2 is actually winning the Navy and has pushed Team 1, or Team 1 didn't really try to defend against it. The units here from Team 2's player of Kinder and from Gutsy Heart. We have a couple of frigates trying to defend this nice set of T1 naval facilities. Brute trying to, or Brett, depending on how you pronounce it, trying to beef up production. Is going T2 as we speak. He's going to try to go for the the technology side of things versus, looks like Kinder and Gutsy kind of focusing on just producing units. We do have the player of Jaluka going into the Navy as well. So 3 players have gone into the Navy for Team 2. Will that be a huge advantage? We'll have to see. But units here from Team 2 getting into the backline, they'll be able to hit one of these mexes. And I think that engineer, if they can hit it, because it is kind of a slope to shoot up, but one of them does arc the shot nicely. You can see it hitting just the tip top of that, but there is a Trident to help assist. That one will go down. One Team 1 mix is not the end of the world here for Team 1. And in terms of ecos, Team 1 is winning by about 15 mass a second. Nothing crazy. We only are at 9 minutes so far. Team 1 leading the mass by about 6,000 to 7,000. And does look like the eastern player of Alexander has actually started to push Lincoln back. Lincoln actually is in the yellow. So these Zui making it very hard for Lincoln to have a forward position up on this plateau. It does look like that is the place to be, and we even see an eastern position being established here for Alexander as well. And the invasion is starting to occur going around this eastern edge of the map and then going to cut southwardly. We should see these group of Thams push forward, and they do get a moving. We have that column of Lincoln still trying to harass these Zui. There's a lot of Zui here. Alexander trying to build up a horde of Zui, try to just deal with that column. Lincoln has stopped moving. We have a frigate here from him as well, but he's gotten into the Navy game as well. So all of Team 2 has gotten into the Navy game, whereas only 3 of the 4 players on Team 1 has gone into the Navy. We're about to have 2 T2 naval facilities online. We do have Meolis on a T2 naval headquarters, has started to build his first destroyer, and that will allow them to push back Team 2 in the middle, probably go after these mexes and position here on this little not plateau, but island thingamajiggy. But Lincoln is running just running away. I was going to say running behind, but running away. And I would too. You know, you're in the yellow. You only have 1 unit nearby. It's a frigate. Not really super useful. This position getting overwhelmed. Thams trying to hold off enemy Thams, but it's just a little too much here. I wish there were more Zui in here, but there are Zui coming in. They're dealing with these land factories as we speak. There's only 3 more left online. All the engineers are dead. They can't build any PD. And it does look like Team 1's player of Alexander will be able to kick off Lincoln from this position. Does look like Team 2 is using their Navy to cover the retreat of Lincoln, but we have a couple of Zui here trying to assault that column. All it's going to do is give him veterancy. Going to get first rank and then a second rank here pretty soon. Yep, that is their second rank. So the hit points will go up, the regen will go up as well, just beefing up the commander little by little. But to Team 2's credit, that was essentially a distraction. We knew that these positions were not going to be held by the other side in terms of, you know, Team 1 for the west and Team 2 for the east. But it was more of how long can they last. It does look like Meolis is holding strong a little bit better than Lincoln is. He has no facilities left online. He is trying to build another one, but that's not going to last very long with these forces coming in westward. We do have this position starting to be overwhelmed here just by interceptors just sitting here. But not really doing a whole lot, unfortunately, here for Team 1. There's a lot of these Mantis moving. I would like to see some sort of play going for this position, or maybe trying to draw out the forces for Jaluka, trying to, you know, essentially play not chicken with them, but essentially go like, you can't catch us, and run away, and then eventually have an interception in the middle of this base. But we have a couple of forces here from Jaluka coming and taking out a Mechs, so eco damage is always good. You know, when you can take out a T3 for the price of a couple of loyalists, I feel like that's kind of worth it. But in this case, it's Mantis versus a T1, so not as mass efficient, but, you know, it's not as bad. We have a lot of Zui. They cannot hit a comm that constantly moves, and especially if they have a wide, you know, circle movement. They can't really hit them directly. The Thams can, though. These are the targets that Lincoln should go after, the things that can actually shoot the comm directly. Trying to worry about the Zui. I had to pause there just for a brief second. We have the fighter bomber over the top here for Lincoln as well. There's even a Voltu as well. I don't think that's going to last very long. Actually, another fighter bomber as well, but those will be taken out. T1 interceptors calling to assist those Natha, but it doesn't really look like they were called that quickly, and unfortunately, they will be taken out. Definitely unfortunate here for Lincoln. He is building up a couple more in the backline as well, just for some precautions. But T3 has been achieved here for the orange player of Gutsy, and probably the same thing here for Team 1's player of Winter. Yep, they have the T3 Pigeon. They have their T3 Pigeon. Looks like they just finished it, so it does look like Winter is just barely ahead. But not by much is what it looks like. How's the ASF looking? Well, we have a spy plane over the top. Team 2 hasn't even done that yet. We have interceptors here for Team 1 as well. So it does look like Team 1 is ahead in that game. If by maybe 30 seconds, maybe a minute. No more than that. The fight to the west has occurred, and it is occurring next to this firebase here for Jaluka. There's a couple of Cerberus, a couple of Zappers, and AA as well. The Mantis for Team 2's play of Jaluka is being overwhelmed, and eviscerated here by Neolus, and he wants to get underneath that shield, take out the shield generator itself, and then go after those Cerberus. But some of these Mantis are not under shield coverage. It's going to take a minute to chew through those hit points or on either the generator itself or the shield. It does look like it falls roughly the same amount of time, the generator falling before, but it's not a whole lot to deal with the PD, and now these Medusa are just annihilated by those Cerberus. Not really going to get any work done there, but, you know, taking out the shield's something, but now it's back online, so was it really worth it? Not really. Could have retreated with the Mantis and held off another push, possibly. That probably would have been worth it. We have Interceptor and ASF fight over the top here for Team 1. Does look like Team 2's player of Gutsy falling a little bit behind in the air game. Of course, we mentioned that a little bit earlier. But it is essentially, it looks like 3 now. Actually, yeah, 3 now because that was a spy plane. But another one en route. It does look like the Interceptor's not Interceptors, the ASF not really the target. One of them does go down. But it looks like the main target here are those not the fighter bombers. At least that's what it noted. Well, there's a couple over here still. It's kind of weird because it's like they're not really focused on these air units right here. Team 1 is in retreat. Maybe it's just due to the target saturation from these interceptors from Lincoln, possibly. We have a couple of torpedo bombers here going after the Salem-class destroyers, trying to reduce Team 2's effectiveness in the water on the eastern side. Team 1 owns essentially the middle of the map. They have a group of destroyers and a cruiser. Love to see it. Love to see that cruiser. Even if it's just one, it's better than none. But I'd say that's probably a good ratio of 3 to 1, 3 destroyers for 1 cruiser. I would prefer probably a 5-2. Though every like 2.5 destroyers you build a cruiser. But 3 to 1 is not that bad. It's pretty good, honestly. It's better than like 5 to 1, for example. We do have more build-up here for Team 1 and Team 2 in the ASF game. Team 2 using their ASFs more aggressively while Team 1's holding them in reserve. This is going to give the advantage here in the skies, taking out those Tort Bombers here against Team 1. Team 1 trying to use that a T2 air headquarters effectively for taking out these subs and these frigates. The destroyer is gone. There's more on the way, but I mean, Team 2's Lincoln still trying to hold out hope that this position will stay online, but more and more resources going in to try to hold it off means less resources in that main base that could be going to other things. Could build T3, could go for more destroyers, could go for more gunships, something. But throwing mass into a land game that's really not doing a whole lot anyways, not really worth it. I feel like it'd be more worth it to build some gunships and kind of raid the area more. But Lincoln's starting to be overrun a little bit. Does have the water next to him. Doesn't want to flee just yet. And I can't blame him. He is, you know, right next to the water, and he's pretty healthy, so not really a huge concern. We do have 1 artillery here built by the column of Alexander, trying to shove anything and everything off of this position. Now Lincoln in between 2 THAM armies with a couple of AA guns in the mix. But Team 1's player of Alexander essentially owns this entire section of the map. Not this one, but, you know, that'll probably come here pretty quickly, especially if the Valiants come in and take out all of these engineers. Which is weird because you would think they'd take them out now, considering Team 1 owns essentially, you know, the middle of the map, not take this position out. There is a T2 mass extractor here, generating 6 eco per or 6 mass per second. And in terms of mass per seconds, we have Team 2 is now... Oh, nope, never mind. Team 1's back in the lead, I was going to say. Team 1 hovering about. Maybe that's reclaim related. Oh, that's total reclaim crew. That's in the clip. Or in the mass bar. It does look like Team 1 is winning by about... I'd say like 15 on the average. I think it constantly bounces. But I'd say 15 mass a second here for Team 1. And that has amounted to about a 20,000 mass differential. We are at 19 minutes. Nobody has died yet. Knock on wood. To avoid the death before 20 minutes. But now we have 2 T2 destroyers on land. We have a bunch of rhinos coming in. They say, no, you're not using that. Get away. No, that's not okay. Land army will just be rolled over by Team 2's player of Jaluka. There's a couple of Medusa in here, but again, moving targets, very hard for artillery to move. Or sorry, to hit. And now that Salem's going to be the main target of those rhinos. That Salem-class destroyer will go down. It's going to try to retreat, but it won't make its way out of there in time. The second one is badly hurt by some artillery that was built earlier. And there it goes. It is gone. A third one is crossing into the mainland here. A couple of rhinos will retreat. They'll get out of there. Their main mission was to dissuade those Salems, and that was their goal. They have accomplished it, but again, not really a lot of work done here. A couple of shields need to be built here. Mechs has gone down. This base is starting to suffer, but it does look like Team 1's play of Neolus is being more of a pain in Team 2's side than Lincoln was here for Alexander. And the Navy here for Team 1 is starting to encroach that southern portion of the map. You can see we have cruisers and destroyers trying to fire pod shots at one another. Cruisers very hard to hit with those missiles on moving targets. But again, UEF cruisers, very effective, and there goes those missiles constantly. I mean, like, how do they store all those missiles? They have essentially an infinite amount of missiles. Are they just, like, teleported into the middle of their launch tubes and just constantly fire them? I have no idea. Let me know down in the comments what you think is housing or transporting or storing all of those missiles. Maybe they're built on the ship. Who knows? I mean, that's what that orange bar is, right? Maybe they're just building more missiles. But we have destroyers here from Team 1 outnumbering those of Team 2, or at least doing more efforts to push back. Again, the cruisers here for the Cyberans don't have the missiles, but they have more projectile-based weapons in terms of regular cannons. They fire more shells versus missiles. I think they have torps on them as well. Wait, what? No? I don't know what they're firing. What are those? I don't know what these missiles are. What are they targeting? Well, they're targeting the... What they're missing. Where are they going? I don't know. I don't know what those are. Those just look like dummy missiles, maybe. We have a T3 sonar platform. Omni platform here in the middle of the map. I love this. It will be easy to target from naval units, but it does give a nice view of the map. It is a 20 by 20, so they won't cover everything, but it'll cover a huge amount, giving Team 2 plenty of warning. But they, of course, need a naval platform, a sonar platform. I keep saying naval. Sonar platform to detect threats in the water. Let's see, do we have anything going on here in the eastern side? Well, Lenkin is retreating back to his main land mass. He does notice those engineers. Those Zui are coming on the water with their floatiness. They should be going after this position. There is a destroyer about to come online. Actually, that's a cruiser. Apologies, not a destroyer. And so now it's Zui versus Zui, but the Zui should be targeting this. This one is going to get a name. This one's probably a destroyer from the looks of it. But there is a T2 Utashala here on the base to take out all of those Zui here. We have counter torp bombers here in the air trying to take out these destroyers. Remember, destroyers do have torp defense, so they can shake off a little bit of those torps, but not an infinite amount, of course, because 1,000 of anything will kill anything in this game, regardless if it's 1,000 Zui or 1,000 strat bombers. It does not matter how thick your shields are. If you have 1,000 strat bombers, they are not gonna there cannot be enough shields built to hold off 1,000 strat bombers. There's just no way. Well, I wouldn't say no way. It's very, 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 very unlikely. That's probably a better way to put it. And if you've been enjoying the cast so far, please like and comment down below. Who do you think is going to win? No one has died so far. Team 1 has more map control, probably I'd say about 60%, roughly. And if you have been enjoying the video or just enjoying my series and channel together, please, if you haven't already done so, please subscribe. And let's get on back into the action here. We have Lenkin kind of just hanging out, you know, has his head above water, you know, enjoying a nice soak. Actually, technically, is his head above water? I don't think so. I think it's just the spikiness. No, I see. You kind of can see the eyes. It's kind of hard to see. Let's turn off all the things so I can kind of zoom in a little bit. You have this. If you can see my mouse, you have these two little eye slits. Essentially, that's where the comm sits. Oh, the commander in the, armored command unit sits. So that you can kind of see kind of like a dog head, I'd kind of call it. If that's not above the water, then that can't be targeted. Just like the Cyberns have those spiky shoulders. If those are out of the water, the comm still can't be targeted. Normally, you still have torp bombers and everything, but by regular like projectile weaponry, the shells and stuff on the ships, or the Zooey, or whatever the case may be. We do have a couple of spy planes, and one lonely little sub made it back in here, trying to take out some of those mass points. This one upgraded to T2 will finish. Well, then will be destroyed by the lonely little attack sub. So that'll be a huge grab here. And just so everybody remembers, you can build a mass storage underneath the water. It's just a feature that they added. Maybe, well, let's see. It is a new game. I should have that feature. And I know sometimes I cast games that are older, and so that feature isn't in the game yet. But I feel like it's been in the game for a while now. So I know some people do forget about that, because I forget about it all the time. So this facility is going down. It doesn't look like anybody's going to save it, unfortunately. There's a couple of torp bombers that could, but I don't think they'll be tasked to do it. Will they see it? They do see it. They see it on their vision, but they're just going to ignore it. That's definitely unfortunate. That's 6 mass a second going down. We have a T3 Neptune class battle cruiser with those direct fire weapons, very similar to the T2 ones of the Utashala and the destroyers from the Seraphim. Don't know how to say their names, and that one's in Russian, so that one's even worse. Not even worse to say. That's even harder for me to say. Ushavo? Maybe that's how you say it. And Seraphim names. I can get some of them. Some of them I'm not even. Nope. But we have another incursion on land here from Team 2's player of Jaluka, and more land incursions from these Salem class destroyers. Does look like there's a lot more rhinos inbound. There's not a whole lot of shields here. Would like to see shields in the mix here for Team 2. Do Sirens get mobile shields? I swear they get mobile shields. Maybe they don't, but the rhinos are getting in. They are beefy. They are heavy tanks. They're running into the Salems. Isn't really going to do a whole lot, but they will take out another one. There's 3 more back here. They're on the retreat, though, but they can not fire 180 degrees backwards, but they can fire essentially, what is that, in a 300-degree arc with 60 degrees in their blind spot. Kind of like you've seen Naruto, Neji's, is it Neji? Neji's like perfect, not one of those forms. There's like a dot that you can trace all the way back that he can't hit. It's exactly 180 degrees behind his vision. I think it was Yeah, it was Neji, right? I think so. Hinata's brother. It's Neji. Anyway, that battle cruiser is pushing forward. It does have a decent range on that thing, so the Reda is the range. There's a counter-intelligence build here, but that's not going to last very long. They can see it. They're going to target it, and there it goes. And T1 frigates have no match against those battle cruisers. The laser goes off, instantly wrecks it. It does look like Team 1's player of Brut is suffering some power issues. He needs more T3 P-gens. He doesn't actually have T3 P-gens at 27 minutes. That's kind of an oversight. You need power to produce naval units. It's just a fact. Just like you need it for air units, you just need to have power for naval units. He needs a T3 online. He has a T3 facility, so he needs to just build a couple of NGs, go back to base, build a P-gen. He'll be right as rain. And the air grid is starting to progress more for Team 1's player of Winter. How does Team 2's look? Well, I think it's about the same. What is it? 1, 2, 3, 4 almost versus 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So Team 1's in the lead in terms of facilities, but Team 2 can easily catch up, and they actually have an additional player in the air game here for Kinder. So 2 Team 2 players are in T3 air. There's a lot of T's and 2s and 3s in that word, but this whole facility is destroyed here for Mealis. He should just pull out. There's a lot of artillery, but the artillery is going down slowly. The shield is gone. That is what the Salems are targeting, but unfortunately, even if they take it out, the comm is here. You can easily build that back up. You can easily push forward and deal with the rest of whatever's left. Not really worth it. We have a T3 Galaxy class battleship here in this little canal, and it does look like that battleship will hold off against a couple of those destroyers and looks like a cruiser. I think, yeah, it is a cruiser. Just couldn't tell from the behind it from the back. There is a zapper on the back. Good use of assets here from the developers that originally designed the game. They're trying to like, oh, let's just put a zapper on it. That'll work. And there actually are T3 zappers or T2 zappers on the Galaxy classes as well. They're actually escorting the sonar platform. I know you want the vision, but it's not really worth it at this stage. At least here, you could put it in the middle and be fine, but not really here. You can see this is the range that it can see at. Essentially, it's... I thought it was wider. Maybe that's the range of it. But it would better serve to be over here in the middle because you're losing a lot of its area on this western side just due to that it's land and not water. So it's better to have it in the middle. No, stop pulling up the mass fab panel. I don't want it to be open. I don't need to know how much mass fab somebody has. We are seeing a retreat here from Team 1's main naval player of Bert. We have 2 Galaxy class battleships, a third one on the way, but they're in this tight space here. Not a lot of room to maneuver, and now this naval fleet with 2 battleships and a bunch of destroyers is en route. The port bombers are targeting the battleship, which, you know, trying to reduce its hit points is a good idea, but it's a lot of hit points. Maybe they were waiting for a pincer maneuver, maybe, but we have 2 T3 battle cruisers and a couple of destroyers here. They'll come at this from the side, taking out the support ships and then going after the main ship itself. Those battleships are retreating. A lot of the fire is being diminished because it's essentially a single file line. Not really the best positioning. There's even a third Galaxy here on that western side. No one has died at 30 minutes. Look at that. You hardly see that. Not these days, but in general. Just because usually somebody dies by 20, and most likely somebody dies before 30. But we'll see. This is, you know, a newer map. I haven't seen a whole lot of games casted on it in general in the vault, so not that many people, you know, knowledgeable about it, considering you were talking, you know, comparatively to like Settings or Dual Gap or those other maps that have been around for a very long time. But those battleships are in range of that Galaxy, and they'll take out the first one. They need to get even closer. The Galaxy has the better range, but the Neptunes have the better DPS. So as long as they can get in range and hold off all those destroyers and incoming adds, essentially, they will be able to do well here. But you can see it does look like the destroyer is underneath the water here, so it can't be targeted by the main weapons off of that battle cruiser. I keep saying battleship, battle cruiser. That one's going to die just due to the incoming firepower. These 2 have to retreat. There's a lot of forces here. We even have a counter Neptune, so we do have Lincoln getting access to the UEF technology, or at least it was gifted over to him, one of the 2. Those look like that is, that is what is being produced here by Gutsy Heart. He's focused more on the air, so giving his naval units over to his teammate, definitely the better use of his APM, especially this stage of the game at 32 minutes where a decent mistake can cost you the game or at least your life, and not a good position to be in with the first player dead. You don't always want to be the first one voted out or kicked off of anything, regardless if it's, you know, a competition or a video game, which is a competition, I guess. But just you don't want to be the first one out. No one wants to be it. Somebody has to be, but no one wants to be it. So usually everybody does what they can to not be the first one voted out. The air production is in full swing. We even have, again, that air grid being built here by Kinder. So if either one of these players dies, there's a decent air grid for them to use. And T3 air has also been achieved here by Jaluka. So we have 3 players on Team 2 that have T3 air. This one not there yet. I would like it to be T3 air and have everyone on Team 2 having T3 air, but Team 2 T2 for gunships or torp bombers is definitely useful, especially in a naval map just like this. We have an SMD built here for the player of Mulus, just preparing for a possible nuke. Don't see any efforts to build one as of yet, but you can never be too careful. 30 minutes is about the time you should start thinking about how do I want to end this game. Team 1's player of Alexander has gone into the T3 air as well. It's only 2. This one still should go to T3. There is now building P-Gens. Feel like that's a little late. They needed those P-Gens earlier on, in my opinion, just to produce all of the naval units that they needed, because it just takes a toll. You probably should be building a couple more facilities to pump out more, at least T2 destroyers at a minimum. You can see Team 1's Navy is essentially either destroyed or completely just not on the front line, and now Team 2 has a surge of momentum, and they're charging at these units here in this channel. They're trying to get at them, but a lot of those shots are missing just due to the terrain in general. And when those destroyers kind of come around the corner, those galaxies light them up, and then a lot of them are taken out. You can see ships constantly just sink into the water. There's a lot of reclaim currently on the map. How much is there? 111,000. Let's see, most of it is here. So on screen currently there is 86,000. So most of it residing on the western side, and most of it residing in the naval combat, which makes sense because there's a lot of mass that goes into building naval units. We're seeing a push of T1 Zooies against these frigates and destroyers and cruisers here against Lincoln. Lincoln just suffering here, constantly being bombarded here by just these Zooies here for Alexander. Alexander doing a great job of trying to just annoy his enemy here on that eastern side. He even has a couple of missile defenses. I thought he had launchers, which he does not. I feel like launchers would be pretty fun, but he only has TMD. Yeah, they're all TMD. They're not launchers, which is, I feel like he needs some TMLs just to annoy his enemy here, because he could go after this T2 naval headquarters and take that out. That's essentially his only structure besides a couple of these T1s. There is another T1 over there, but he would still need to upgrade it, and that takes some time. It takes some mass, you know. Not having access to T2 units in this stage in the game can be pretty detrimental, but the amount of destroyers built by Kinder, you can just see those hit points on that galaxy just going bye-bye. And it does look like Team 1's player of Mulus has focused more on producing Galaxy-class battleships. A lot of hit points. It takes a while to chew through them, but they need to be able to hit their targets. The smaller targets will, struggle. The T1 frigates and units will be able to dodge more of the shots of the T3 units versus, let's say, other T3 units, or even T2. The T2 are a little bigger than T1, of course. It's just kind of the nature of things. The summits, though, very powerful units. They are, of course, they are a little more tanky than the galaxies, not by a whole lot, about a little under 7,000. So I'd say 6,600 looks like, to be exact. That's non-veteran seed. So these galaxies gonna have to watch out for those incoming barrages, and ooh, that hurts. Let's see, let's check on the northern side. Is there any sort of plays? We have a Novax almost completed here for Bert, and Bert going, well, I'll build all the power I need later. He's built 4 of them so far. He has plenty. Oh, he's starting to lose a little bit. Needs to build 1 more, but he has 104,000 in the tank, so not a huge concern there. Once he finishes the Novax, it'll go back up. We have just more air grids, more battleships. Not really any big plays so far coming out of Team 1 in terms of, we have 1 Novax and that is it in terms of quote-unquote game enders. I don't count Novax as game enders unless there's like 8 of them, or 4 of them. I feel like 4 of them starting to come into that game ender stage just because they're, they can't be targeted unless you take out the satellite station itself. It takes a little bit for them to recharge, but 4 of them, they can do a lot of damage pretty quickly. We do have an experimental from Jaluka, and it is a monkey that's going to start walking northwestwardly. Team 1 does have some forces here, so they're not going to be completely unaware of that. But it still will have an issue, of course. Is there anything going on here for the eastern side? Really, we have a couple of gunships, not gunships. We have cruisers coming in, but the Calm of Winter just control Ks. There it goes. I was trying to find my chat, wasn't popping up. Don't see any reason why. Maybe he had a connection issue or something. A lot of boats, a lot of those Team 1 frigates do get destroyed. But I don't know why he left. It's kind of weird. Well, we have the first departure of the game. It is Winter from Team 1. It is now a 4v3 in favor of Team 2. In terms of map control, it's pretty much gone back to around 50-50. A lot of it is just not even occupied currently, so I'd say that's kind of still in the hands of Team 1, but Team 2 has a better response to it, especially with this Monkey Lord that is inbound here from the western side. A lot of units and a lot of facilities built here just for the reclaim. Team 2 getting a better handle on that reclaim. They have 111,000 versus 56,000, so a 2-to-1 advantage. And Team 1 is still in the game in terms, or still in the lead for generated eco per second, but Team 2 in the lead for total just due to the fact that they have so much reclaim. Reclaim, again, is very important. It isn't the most important, but in terms of importance, I'd say it's like top 3, I'd say. At least top 2. You need intelligence, you need mass, whether it comes from reclaim or it comes from generation or gifting, technically. I guess that's teammates, so. We have an air fight over here in the middle. Team 2 will handily take that win. And now Team 2 essentially has air dominance. Not essentially, does have air dominance. That'll allow them to do a whole lot with tort bombers, strat bombers, gunships, whatever they want to throw at Team 1. Looks like Team 1 lost a lot of their momentum with the departure of Winter. Winter was not the highest, not the lowest, but in the middle in terms of ranking. This ranking is actually very tight. We have the lowest at 1066 and the highest at 1373. So we're talking about 300 points roughly between the top and the bottom. So it's a tight group of people in terms of rating, and we have 100% rating. It's not perfect, but 2 points per player ahead for Team 1. So 8 points. 8 points separating both teams total. That's really, really close. The ladder matchmaker thingamajig, whatever it's called, did a really good job on that. We have a Neptune just hanging out on the beach here, targeting these T2 mass extractors, and we have a couple of summits. They'll start pummeling this position in the middle, targeting that T3 Omni, I would hope. Air fight going over the top of this. There's a decent amount of cruisers here. There's not a lot, but a decent amount will be able to take out these air forces here against Team 2. They'll lose most if not all of their ASF. They have a T3 aircraft carrier, so they'll be able to produce their air units there further forward. Not that it's really that important that it's that far forward, but it does have AA on it, so almost all of those ASF from Team 2's player of Kinder will go down, but a huge horde of tort bombers are here. Oh, I pushed the wrong button before I was ready. There we go. There we go. They are inbound for some enemy ships, and what are they going after? I've figured cruisers or straight for some of those Galaxy-class battleships. Bombs are dropped, some of them impacting directly, most of them in the water. A lot of those hit points are taken out. Team 1 will come in with their air support and take that out, but they did do a decent chunk on one of the lead Galaxy classes, and there's a lot of them here for Team 1. 9 battleships here versus, we do have an Ahwassa here for Team 2. I thought I heard that. I'm Human. Oh, I love that name. And I can only think of the I'm Only Human After All song that was the song for the ads for Mass Effect Andromeda. Not the best game, but the song just got stuck in your head because it played so many times. Here comes that bomber. It is inbound. Nice little screenshot, turn to turn, but there is a bulwark shield, but it takes out 2 of those battleships. Look, wait. Oh, yeah, they're right here. I was like, I thought I saw them. But bulwark shields, very effective. You know, they have 5,000 hit points on them for their shields. They can kind of shake off a little bit of those incoming damage. Not a lot, but, you know, every little bit counts, especially when you rush some of those tort bombers. But here it comes. Are they going to throw it in again? The ASF are waiting for it over here to the northwest. Team 2's player of Lark Lenkin does not want to thrust it upon him that, not decisively, but that haphazardly, but he'll drop the bottom in again. He'll try to get out as fast as he can. The pings go down. It impacts against the shield, but the bulwark doesn't take a whole lot of damage. ASF are called in, but then we'll have to retreat just due to the Air Force guarding that bomber. I feel like, yeah, Lincoln can control that, but I feel like Gutsy would be better because he does have the main ASF force in the area. Team 2, with the assistance of that I'm Human Ahwassa bomber, is making more forward momentum progress, but it does look like just with the amount of battleships that Team 2 has, hover bombing, trying to do what he can, impacts the shields, takes out a destroyer, does take out a decent amount of hit points nearby off of those Galaxy-class battleships, but Team 2 needs to protect it at all costs. ASF start to come in range. They took out a few of them, but not a whole lot of them. Team 1 still has... Do they still have ASF over here? No, they don't. Team 1's only air forces are from Mulus. Mulus is on 2 bases. Team 2 is catching up on that generated eco per second, and they're pulling away just due to their sheer amount of mass they're picking up. They've doubled, essentially, since the last time I have mentioned it. We're at 43, almost 44 minutes here. Who do you think is going to win? Let me know down in the comments. It's still essentially an even fight. Team 2 is leading in that bomber, but the bomber is on its way. Those destroyers to the west are just going to be, you know, they're not fish food because they're on land, but they're not gonna. It's not gonna feel good in a minute. There they go. All of them are gone in one fell swoop. Team 1 needs some more destroyers, but we have some strap bombers on the way here from Team 2's player of Kinder, and they are coming after that. I don't know what they're going after. ASF in the area will take a decent amount of them out, but a lot of them will make it to the main base. Oh, maybe they're going after the satellites? Maybe that's kind of what it looks like. Here they come. Yep, they're going after the Novax. There it goes, and it is gone. That Novax is not going to last. There's a couple of SAM sites, but not a whole lot. The SAM sites won't be able to target those strats just due to the environment that they're next to, but there they get another pass coming in. There's another Novax that they're targeting. The shield will not hold it. Oh, but they took out that artillery, and they take out the Novax. Good 2-for-1 grab there. Team 1 has been delayed in its efforts. A third one was built. That one will survive. The strap bomb... Oh, no, maybe not. Maybe I spoke too soon. Strap bombers will get in close. It only takes one more bomb. Will it be enough? Will they save the last satellite? The bomb does not drop. Oh, that was very close. Team 2's player of Kinder essentially neuters Team 1's end game strategy with Novaxes and a artillery. Do they have their own version? Well, they have a couple of whalers coming in on this western side taking out Eco against Team 1. Do they have any game enders here on the land? They could be building in the water like a Scathos or something, but I don't see anything. Nope, I think they're just going to win it with Navy and Air for right now. Cloak can go on the way for Kinder. He had the torpedo as well. Not really that effective. Could take that off and build the laser. They do have a player up against their opponent, so they could sacrifice a player against it. The Team 1's bases, whether it be the air base. But that Ahwassa is very close to the main base. There's hardly any AA. They're building more Novaxes as we speak, and they're building more SAM sites as we speak. So that Ahwassa going to come in. It's I'm Human. There it goes. It's going to get a huge amount of veterancy with this kill. It actually is already at 5 stars, and that huge secondary air grid is down in one bomb, and it's holding strong. It's still above essentially 50% of its hit points. It doesn't have the bomb charge as of yet. It's trying to hover bomb. At least that's what it looks like. SAM sites are coming in more and more. This bomber has to retreat, or it's just a lot of mass dropped on Team 1's doorstep. But that bomb will hover drop, and I'm Human. Man, Lincoln is just pumping out those bombs, and he's at 231,000 mass killed. They'll drop another bomb here. There it goes. Gonna land. Kaboom. Actually, that was a little bit farther. Where is that one going? That's a little bit of an overshoot. That was kind of weird. But Team 2 has no response. Sorry, Team 1 has no response for this. But now this bomb is going to be dropped on the base for Burt. Man, this is one of the most effective bombers I've ever seen that's still alive. 237,000 mass. That is a lot of mass. There's just the hover bomb of doom here. This is like, uh-oh. Here it comes. Here comes the bomb. Impact incoming. Impacts the shield. Doesn't crack the shield just as of yet. There's more SAMs coming online. A lot of the this is just very important here. If they take out Team 1's air grid, it's not game, but it's pretty close. Looks like that is the goal. But the bomb gets, I don't know what's going on here. The bomb just overshoots. I think he's trying to hover bomb, but because he's on a higher plane, it just doesn't work with the trajectory maybe. Takes out a mass extractor, or the mass for one. This thing is still online. Team 1 still doesn't have a response. I just see all the projectiles. Look at all those projectiles in the distance being thrown at one another. Another bomb drops. It takes out this mass extractor as well. Hits the shield just a little bit. We have some whalers coming in. They'll be able to deal with the rest of this air grid. Team 1 in a very dire situation here. They need a win, and they need it now. All of the Navy for Mulus is retreating. It only leaves the Navy here for Burt. Burt still has his base, but he has this giant thing to worry about. It does look like Team 1's player of Lincoln will try to get it out of there before Team 1 can shoot it out of the sky. But the bomb drops. They're going after more mass. There it goes. 3 more mass extractors are taken out. Man, this thing is just hiding up in the mountains. You know, it's not short range missiles, except it's from a bomber. This thing is deadly. Here it goes. The bomb is ready once more. Trying to get nice little cinematic shots of it. Trying to hover bomb. It's a very tight environment to move around, so kind of hard to get those angles right. We have a couple of bricks on the mainland, though, taking out essentially what is the rest of Team 1's player of Mulus's base. There goes a bunch of some storage here and some hover drones, those kennels. They're built a decent amount of SAM sites, but it's only on this western side, and this is some on the eastern side. That Ahwassa is coming in. Man, this thing has killed 285,000 mass. It's going to get a lot more here. Volatile explosions, here we go. Now it's at 308,000. Team 1 is decimated just by this one bomber. And it does look like Team 1's player Burt control Ks. He sees the writing on the wall. It is now a 4v2 in favor of Team 2. Team 2 surging forth. One experimental essentially won it for Team 1, and it was this Ahwassa bomber. I think it has to do with the fact that it's on a higher plane and the trajectory isn't really working out. But man, this thing is at 315,000. There it goes. It's going to take another set of mass extractor down. Alexander, all he can do is build AA, but he doesn't have the facilities to do so. Mulus inherits everything on that western side of the map, so it's Alexander on the east, Mulus on the west. That naval fleet is coming in more and more. Galaxy classes, Hathums. We should see summits over here. Just so many battleships, so many units just pummeling the northern naval fleet. More pigeons are going down. 337,000 mass killed. That is one of, if not the most cost-effective or most killed mass by one Ahwassa. I'm assuming there's more, but at least for the channel, I think that's the most mass killed by one. And we have ASFs constantly protecting it. Again, the only thing that can take out this bomber is service-to-air AA. And engineers are trying to build pigeons. That's not going to work. Those engineers are not going to get a chance to do that. It's going to split the difference, take out a mass extractor as well. 340,000. Man, that thing is deadly. I hear another bomb drops. There goes another section of mass extractors. It's trying to split the difference. Takes out 2 more. Man, what is Team 1's eco like? Well, Team 1 was at like 1.4, 1.5 thousand. Now they're at 400. Team 2 is beating them by essentially almost 5 times the amount, which is so much more mass than your opponent. It looks like that was some reclaim related there just for a second, but man, that's just a lot of mass just there that they're losing by. And you can see Team 1 is holding, but they just can't produce enough units to hold off this incursion. And to be fair, neither of these players have given up yet. Yet being the case, it does look like Alexander will go down to Jaluka by some whalers. These whalers, man, in conjunction with the Ahwassa, have been essentially the winning move here by Team 1. It is now a 4v1. here for Team 2. They almost have a flawless victory. They just need to survive. There's another bomber, also named I'm Human. That doesn't help me keep track. I'll just keep track by the mass kill. 380,000 versus only 0. This one's got a long way to go to catch up with his brother. But the bomb is going off. Where is it going? It's going after these naval units here. There comes the bomb in. It'll take out this aircraft carrier. There it goes. 384,000 still alive, almost back in the green. 50 mass per second has been protected for a very long portion of its life. And now this position's going to fall. There it goes. Oh, there goes that Omni. There goes all of that mass. 404. It has crossed the 400,000 mass killed mark. Team 1 still trying to hold at that 400 mass per second mark, but it doesn't look good. We have even satellites starting to move northward to those main bases for Team 1. And just look at this. Essentially, the entire eastern side of Team 1's main bases have been annihilated. There's an SMD still online, but that's going to die to this chicken. Blenkin is just producing experimentals. He chose the Ahwassa. They knew that Team 1 didn't have a whole lot of air. Team 2 held air for a while, essentially saying, yeah, let's build an air experimental. They can't really counter it, and they can with SAMs, but they're not really doing that. And now we're at 413. Looks like they're just taking out these naval facilities here. There's a couple battleships still online. 4 of them are en route to deal with them, plus an additional 2 for the Seraphim variety. The governor classes have dealt with that SMD, not that it was really a problem. Does Team 2 have like anything else? They have another one. They're going to build a third one. Grievous Nexus. That's what it's called. Yeah, the naming convention here. Let's see. We got anything else? Any juicy? We got again Novax, another one being built. I think that's about it. Laser online here for Kinder. He wants his common into action. Has the teleporter. I don't think he's going to really be able to use it just because of the devastation. But the first I'm Human comes in, takes out that whole line of SAMs. The second one should be coming in. There it is. Trying to go after the naval production facilities. The bulwarks will protect against it, but it's now back in the green. Sorry, it's not 50 mass per second. It's 150 mass per second at a tier 5 Ahwassa bomber. There comes the secondary bomb. There goes some more PGens. 446,000 mass killed by one bomber. That second bomber does go down. The big brother, sad that his little brother has died, will try to avenge his death, but there's a lot of whalers here as well. This is going to be a hard press for Team 1 to fight against. This is a survival map at this point. They still have a Novax they can reclaim. Trying to hover bomb, but it's just not coming out of the chute. Team 1 still has some sort of Navy online, but not being slowly diminished, slowly pushed back into one cove. There comes that bomb. SAM sites open up. They target those ASF. They're trying to at least singe the edges of those shields. There's some bombers coming in. They're targeting... I don't know what they're targeting. They're just going after something. Oh, they're going after the... oh, those are cormorants. Those are not dressed. They're going after the T3 naval headquarters. The I'm Human 447 now at 501,000 has crossed the 500,000 mass killed by one bomber. Secondary bomb comes in, impacts the shield. There's a little bit of damage, but not by much. 500,000 has killed more mass than 2 Paragons, essentially, which is so much mass. There it goes. How much did it get? 513. Still online, taking a lot of hits. It's up 30,000 hit points. This is the game, folks. How much mass can one Ahwassa kill? And they're just slowly diminishing Team 1's bases. This one at 40,000. Let's see if this one will come in a glorious death. Maybe kill the Calm. Get the final kill. This Ahwassa deserves it. I am Human. Well, it's very close. Drops a bomb up here, probably targeting some engineer or something. There's still a T3 mass extractor you can go after. The third Grievous Nex is coming in. The shields are down. Perfect opportunity to take out those SAM sites. There goes the edge bomb. First one goes down, takes out that huge line of SAMs, and the second one comes in and goes, if anything didn't die, I killed it. 515,000, 64,000, up to close 600,000 mass kill with 2 Ahwassas essentially. Don't remember what the second one was. Teleporter on the way for Meatless. Now is that teleporter going here for Kinder? Kinder is teleporting. Actually, no, he's not teleporting. He's building a nuke. Never mind. He has stealth. Did not go for... Oh, he had stealth, not teleporter. Apologies. Bomb goes off. What are we at now? 516. 76,000. It's just not the beginning of the end. It's the end of the end here for Team 1. The props to Meatless trying to stay in the game for as long as he can. Going for teleporter. Maybe he'll go after at least one of these comms. Can't go after Kinder. Lenkin is in the water essentially. Can't go after him. We have Jaluka in the water, but the comm of Meatless control Ks. That's pretty much the end of the game. It was, it was the begin. It was the end. It was just how long he can last at this point. 529,000 mass killed by one Ahwassa. One. That's not 662 kills. That's almost 1,000 mass per kill. I think it's like 80 something, 800 mass something per. Well, no, yeah, 800 mass or something per kill. That is a lot of mass kills. Props to Lenkin. He was the one that gets the underrated player of the game. He got kicked off this position, trying to hold out as best he can. Then says, I'm going to just sit in my base, build up some navy, try to attack the land once again. And then he just went, I'm just going to build some experimentals and see what happens. And he did. And he didn't win it for his team by himself, but taking out a huge portion of 2 players' base and then essentially taking out a third. Units came in behind him and taking out that western base for Meatless. Man, that was very explosive. Say 10, 15 minutes. But again, thank you so much for watching to the end of the video. Please like and comment down below what your favorite moment of it was. Let me know if my opinion is correct on whether Lincoln deserves the underrated player of the game. But again, thank you so much for watching. If you haven't subscribed to the channel, I would greatly, greatly appreciate it. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see all of you in the next one.